Welcome to Thoughts on Ministry podcast with Ray Eppard, a podcast focused on helping you be more effective as you serve God. Now, here's your host, Ray Eppard.
Hello, I'm Ray Eppard, and glad you could join us today. We're talking about the three dimensions of leadership, and right now we're talking about the aspect of leading cultural change. We've talked about leading personal change, and that's really the foundation for it all as the leader. If your culture in your organization is going to change, if how your organization functions is going to change, then you have to have personal change as well for that to take place. And then we talked about organizational change, which is basically the function of the organization, function and direction. Now, cultural change, as we've discussed, is dealing with behaviors and attitudes. And with that, we have to lead cultural change. Let's take attitudes. There are some organizations, I'm actually thinking about a company right now, it's a retail establishment, that when you go in there, it's the culture of that retail business is we're not going to go the extra mile. We would really actually be fine if you hadn't walked in today to make this purchase. And that is a culture. The thing of it is, sometimes you can see somebody new come into that environment, and at first, they're trying to do whatever. And the next thing you know, they settle down right to the level of the culture that's there. They're not going to do anything any more than anybody else. The culture has prevailed. And in this, if you would, culture will usually prevail over everything else. So you have to lead the culture, because the culture, if you would, deals with really the mindset behind all the activities. See, a lot of businesses just trying to deal with the functions. You do steps 1, 2, and 3, and this will be your result. It works every time. No, mindset has to come in there. The same thing is true in ministries. Very often people will get into a program and think, oh man, if we just do this same program that they did, and then it'll work for us just like it did them. And then they do it, and it doesn't work. It doesn't have that degree of success. The piece that is so often missing is the culture piece. What is the mindset? What is the attitude? What is the behaviors of the people doing the things? That's culture. You see, very often, again, in everything, to quote John Maxwell, people care more. In other words, people don't care. Well, his statement is, people don't care how much you know until they know how much you care. And in that situation, so often businesses, even churches, they just try to go through certain steps and procedures to make certain things happen, and then it doesn't come across. It doesn't have the impact. And the thing of it is, that can actually even be deceptive to them. Let's take ministries. That at that point, well, we want to make sure that every new person that comes in, this happens, that happens. And the thing of it is all these people approach them, and it's really coming from a heart of, well, we want to make sure that they don't have an excuse. And it's not really an aspect of genuine care. It's not really because they care for that person that they're glad to see them and they're glad to have them there. They're trying to make sure they do everything right. So if they don't come back, it's their fault that they didn't come back. You see, and in that culture, people that walk in will perceive that. People will feel it. And even though everything can be done right, it's really not an inviting atmosphere. It's not something that they really want to come back to, because it's a thing of everything has to fit into a certain place, and it's really not relaxed. It's not comfortable as when there is genuine care. When there's genuine care, that creates relaxation. And that is a mindset. You have to lead cultural change. Well, again, I'm Ray Eppard, and that's my thoughts on ministry.
You've been listening to Thoughts on Ministry with Ray Eppard. Remember to subscribe to our podcast on iTunes, Podbean, Stitcher, YouTube, Facebook, and Twitter.